A man is shown hibernating in a cryo chamber in a dark room, near the beginning of the film. He can breathe and feed while he sleeps since he is wearing a unique mask. The unidentified man has been in hibernation for 17 years, 2 months, and 22 hours, as the camera subsequently moves to a monitor that is kept in the room. This startling revelation is made abruptly. The device loses power, and the cryo chamber starts to gradually open. The chamber is filled with beeping alarms and flashing lights, causing the man to wake up after nearly 2 decades of sleep. He starts by taking off his mask, giving us our first good look at the man's face. He scarcely has any hair, which gives the impression that he is in his mid-50s. The man coughs for a moment before leaning against the wall as the sirens continue to blare. It appears that his body has grown somewhat rigid from all these years of sleep deprivation. However, the man doesn't have much time to relax because the monitor alerts him to go right away. He consequently makes a hasty inventory of the room and collects as many supplies as he can. In addition, the man puts on a special costume and takes out a gun. He emerges from the bunker, climbs to the top, and eventually reaches the surface. To his horror, however, he finds a world very different from the one he was familiar with 17 years before. The lovely city, which was formerly teeming with vegetation and life, has now been completely destroyed. There isn't even a solitary live thing in the distance, suggesting that a nuclear attack has occurred here. And if that weren't enough, it keeps raining. Everything that the radioactive rain comes into contact with has been corroded, leaving the city looking entirely black and white. This bleak, unsettling, and decaying world is becoming the new normal. After seeing this, the man is in complete disbelief, but he has to move forward because his supplies will run out in a few hours. He wishes that some humans were still able to survive in this hostile world. The man gathers himself and looks at his equipment, which indicates that the air quality is too dangerous to breathe. He needs to move quickly because his oxygen supply is limited. At that moment, he gets a notification on his phone instructing him to proceed to a designated meeting spot. With the current conditions, it could take hours to travel the enormous 10.4 kilometers distance. However, the man moves in that direction because he has no other choice. After that, the city is shown to us from above, and it truly appears to be the end of the world. There is wreckage of automobiles, buildings, and even airplanes all over the place. In addition, there are explosion craters on the ground, and newspapers with war headlines. The man eventually arrives at an abandoned military base after some trekking. There are several abandoned cars outside, but nothing of value is inside. Then, with his rifle ready, the man cautiously makes his way into the structure. In addition to being yearning to locate another human, he is also afraid that in this circumstance, people could become monsters. When the man checks each room, he finds nothing but rubbish and debris. He eventually finds something helpful at one point, a landline. Sadly, though, the connection isn't functional. His heart sinks at this, and he sheds a brief tear. However, he quickly gets his bearings and resumes his journey. When the man checks his gadget after leaving the building, he discovers that there is no signal. He doesn't know where to go, making his already challenging journey hard. He looks in the adjacent automobiles once again in the hopes of finding something helpful, but he is unsuccessful. After that, the man wanders for hours in all directions without purpose. He gets so depressed that he decides to shoot his one and only flare gun into the sky. However, he changes his mind at the last second. The man's chances of surviving are gradually dwindling as the rain has also gotten worse, but his device beeps right before he's about to lose it. After checking it, the man discovers that the notification is environment safe. This puts him in a difficult situation. He's not sure if the device is providing reliable readings, because it has lain dormant inside the bunker for a long 17 years. However, the man must accept the risk because he is aware that his oxygen supply would eventually run out. Then he finds the bravery to remove his safety helmet. He is delighted that the rain has no effect on him, proving that this place is safe. The man is in disbelief that he is at last inhaling fresh air and sensing rainfall. He lets the moment sink in, taking his time to enjoy it because he knows it might not come around again. The gadget beeps once again in the middle of the happy moment. This time, it indicates that a teammate is in the vicinity. The man is taken aback to see that the distance is merely 205 meters. Reassured and resolute, he packs up his belongings and heads straight for the specified area. After nearly 20 years, the man is suddenly dreaming of being with another human. Regretfully, upon reaching the location, all he discovers is the team member's rusted helmet. It's obvious that the individual passed away a long time ago. The man discovers a radio nearby that was sending him signals. He is so distraught and heartbroken that he starts crying uncontrollably and swearing loudly. When he's finished, he properly buried the departed team member. In addition, he chants a few prayers, demonstrating that he genuinely possesses humanity. After that, the man puts his helmet back on and resumes his travels. He chooses to take a detour because he is unsure of the precise route to the meeting place. A destroyed neighborhood where numerous families once resided is what he finds after a few hours. When the man walks into one of the homes, he finds a room full of pictures. He sees them and is emotional, breaking down in tears. It is found that he was the only owner of the residence. The man is reminded of their happy times together by a picture of himself and his wife with their cherished puppy. But now that the world he knew is gone, all he can do is dream of those times. The man begs for assistance passionately over his radio after leaving the house. He's hoping that someone will find him and listen to him. He keeps attempting for hours at a time, and throughout that time, we get more overhead video of the city. Everything appears to be in black and white because the skyscrapers and other monuments have been reduced to rubble. Soon after, the man walks through a tunnel and sees a number of posters. They all discuss killing and war. The man watches them for a little and then carries on with his journey. He pulls out a can of dog food and begins to devour it as hunger strikes. Given the current situation of the world, this is the greatest luxury man can obtain. However, the food runs out quickly, which reduces his chances of surviving. The man does his best to keep himself motivated in spite of the dire circumstances. He believes he needs to look presentable even though there are no humans in sight. Despite the fact that he has no beard, he pulls out his razor and begins shaving. The man examines himself with a shattered glass fragment. While he is deeply engaged in this activity, his device's battery unexpectedly drains. He is now totally alone, without access to food, water, or a radio signal. The man begins to cry and grasp the device in his arms as this breaks his desire to life. He manages to get up and ascend the largest structure in the area in the following scene. Right now, his flare gun is the only thing that can save him. Although he is unsure of where in the metropolis there may still be live humans, man is still optimistic. He therefore chooses to send out a sky signal for assistance. After that, he shoots his flare into the sky and anxiously watches for a reaction. After a few seconds, the area is completely silent. The man is devastated by this and gets ready to depart. However, he is suddenly met with a flare gun fired in return. The man, filled with excitement, bolts down the building and makes his way toward the area from whence the flare was fired. He can now see more clearly because the rain has ceased as well. At that moment, he notices a helmet in the distance that most likely belonged to the individual. However, the fact that the enemy's symbol is on the helmet makes our hero appear less than happy. This suggests that the individual is most likely hostile and will kill and plunder without hesitation. In any case, the man is prepared to take the chance because he has been alone for far too long. He pulls out his weapon and moves cautiously in the direction of the helmet. However, just as he is going to get there, a rifle cocks behind him. The man is startled to see a woman pointing her firearm in his direction when he turns around. After exchanging long looks, they put down their weapons because they realize there is no longer any purpose in fighting. They both understand everything even if they never say a word.